In my world, people assume that I have to be perfect with money. I have to be perfect with my own credit in order to be a credit expert. But what if the opposite is actually true? What if being bad with money and having a horrible experience with credit to the point of just pure ignorance is what made me good, so good that I was able to create a business and help others? So today I'm going to talk to y'all basically about my true path, how I got to where I'm at today. I feel that people are under the impression that I just know everything and I always knew everything and life was great. But in all actuality, I can say because I'm 46 years old, I just recently started knowing the things that I knew now. So recently, meaning within these past, I want to say 8 years, being generous, maybe 9 years. I'm not proud of it, but it's a reality. And hopefully, my reality will help you guys as well. So let's get right into it. You guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Tamiya Robles. I am your credit expert. I am the owner of FixMyCreditNow850.com. I'm the host of my podcast, Coast to Coast Credit, and I am the Red Title Chapter President out here in Victorville, California. Welcome, 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 everybody. So, listen, I just want to kind of give you guys some back to backs. Hopefully, you're digging it. Hopefully, you are liking it. But before I go into anything, as usual, I want to say my thank yous to everyone. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for downloading, supporting me, scheduling your consultations with me. It's been great getting to know you guys and hearing your stories and letting you guys letting me in to help you. That means so much. And thank you for people that are listening around the world. It's crazy. I will never get over that. So I always say how amazing that is. But thank you so very much. I appreciate you guys for listening and the support. Now, I actually just want to get into this because I know it's a thing that people look at me as kind of like, you're the expert, you know everything. And I think some people are under the misconception that I've always known everything. So today's episode might kind of be a little bit of a story time. I'm not going to keep you as long as I did the last time, right? But I do feel I need to kind of give you guys a background and sort of expose my past so you understand how I got to where I am today. And it's almost like a reintroduction. Yes, I have past episodes that you could check into and hear me, but for those that don't know, yes, I had a questionable past, but when it came to finances and credit, it was just as bad, and it led me to where I am today. And I just wanted to go over it with you guys so you have an idea, and hopefully this encourages you to fix your credit. I have some people that are looking at their current circumstances, and because you are currently making bad decisions or you currently are in a rut and life is life, and like the youngins say, that you can't fix your credit or you can't start the process, even though, or you can't even have goals because of where you're at today. And that's not true. That's not true. And I wish somebody told me that then. And I wish somebody woke me up and said, hey, like, this is what you need to do. If you're going to take X amount of years to even fix yourself, at least start this process. And it wasn't done. And I get it. A lot of us aren't educated in this. Some people don't feel it's important enough. But again, hopefully my journey will help encourage you to just start the process of bettering your financial situation, bettering your credit situation, starting the path of home ownership and having just owning things in life as opposed to renting and borrowing, things like that. Okay. But I've been there. So there's no judgment at all whatsoever. And hopefully this episode does help you with that and help you understand where I'm coming from with that. And that I understand where you're coming from, especially when you're scheduling consultations with me. I'm not a stranger to any of the things that you've gone through. I either heard it before, lived it before, and humans just don't shock me. That's why I say this is a judgment free zone. Schedule a consultation with me. And like I stated, and I say in all my episodes, even if you're not ready to fix your credit, let's just structure a plan, at least have some sort of goal, so we can I'm sorry, have some sort of goal so we can work together on it, so you can and I can help you accomplish it. So let me first start off by making it abundantly clear. When I was living with my parents. I was living with my parents, obviously, from a baby until, my teens, that I never wanted or needed money. Money was not an issue in my household. My parents had money. And I lived in nice houses and things like that. And when you're accustomed to a certain lifestyle, you don't really have anything negative or anything else to compare it to. So I lived a nice lifestyle. My parents provided that for me. Everyone that I was around, for the most part, family members, friends, we all were on the same, financial path. So it's not like I more so like grew up in poverty in the beginning, in the early stages of my life. So money was not a thing. It's not something that we would discuss in my household. My parents didn't teach me how to budget, save, or anything. It was more so whatever you need, you got it. Or you didn't have to ask for anything. You just had all the things, even down to the toys, the food, extracurricular activities that I wanted. It just happened. It was natural for me. So money and finances just weren't a thing. It wasn't a topic of discussion, right? It was almost just like money existed. So now I did have some family members that, mostly on my mother's side, that didn't have it. I did visit them. I did see what life was like not having as much as I had. However, again, when you grow up a certain way and you grow up and see your family members and you visit that side of the family, you're just used to it. I didn't understand that it was tied into money. I didn't realize that, okay, my family or my mom's side of the family has less because dot dot dot. It was just whatever it was. I didn't question anything, and nobody talked to me about anything. Nobody compared it. My parents didn't even use that side of the family as a reference point of what not to do so you're not in that situation. It was just like, okay, I live like this, you live like that. I don't know why. Like, I'll give you a perfect example of my ignorance, which was super embarrassing looking back on it. But my aunt, uh, she used to have food stamps. She was on welfare. She had food stamps. And this was back in the day when you actually had food stamps, like money. It wasn't like an EBT card or anything. And we were out shopping, and I was like, I think I told y'all this before, but I was just a not obnoxious kid, and I had like a short attention span. I was a spoiled kid. I found out later that that side of the family didn't really, my cousins weren't really bumping with me like that because I was looked at as like the rich kid, right? So rich spoiled kid. And so my aunt was at the register. I'm ready to go. I'm bouncing off the walls, and I think she bought me some candy, so I'm eating that. Da, da, da. And then she went to go pay for the food, and she paid with food stamps. And I saw it. I was like, "Hey, why are you paying with Monopoly money? Why aren't you using real money?" And everyone just got silent. And my aunt was like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." And I just didn't understand. I was like, whatever. I mean, went back to bouncing off the wall. So I just wanted to give you an example of like my ignorance. It didn't resonate with me. Money wasn't a thing. And I think because of that, or I know because of that, I never really valued money. And like to this day, don't value actual money. And I didn't say that's good. As an adult, it's not good. I know I use it as a tool. I look at money solely as a thing that I need to get the things that I want. And I like to work for it, and I like being rewarded for the job that I do through cash. I don't really need compliments, just run that check, right? Like I need more of that. Other beyond that, I don't really value money. I don't care about money. And I think that is somewhat harmful to live life that way. And the reason why is because um through life, and give you some more examples, but through life there was no drive to get money. And the people that I work with and the customers that I help and others that I interact with, associates, and just hearing people's stories, I respect the hustle. That's why I love people that hustle. I mean, I don't judge their hustle and I don't knock it. I'm so fascinated that something, which is typically money, is motivating you to go get that. Like you have a drive, a passion, and a desire to get something that you find valuable, which is money. So you have access to other things that you value or you want to value, like house, cars, credit cards, vacations and things like that. I literally don't have that. I don't have an emotional connection to money. I do not I just don't care about money, but I like to work hard for it and I like the reward and I like using it as a tool. I like that it's accessible. I like the ups and downs of finances. Like if I'm broke, okay, boom, I need more of this tool. Let me go out and grind and get the tool and then I'm cool. And then I can sit on a pile of money, not do anything with it because I like to look at my bank account and say, oh, I worked hard and this is what I got. It's weird. It's crazy. I just don't judge me. Judge your mother. I swear I say that every episode. But I can give you another example. Young, I was really young. So, and me being the youngest on my father's side or my cousins or whatever, like I would get a lot of money from like my family. I would get cash money and I would get gifted money, $20 here, $30 there. I can't even tell you like if it was more or less because again, I didn't value money to the point where I didn't even look at it. Like I would get cards and birthday cards and stuff like that. To this day, I do not read cards because of it. So if you're sending me a card, I'm sorry, I didn't read it. I only open it to see if money falls out. And if money doesn't fall out, then I kind of feel slighted, like, you know what I'm saying? But then I put the card, up, just so I can say I did something with it. But what I used to do is even up into my 30s, if I got cards from family members, I would open it up and then I would crack open the card, see if money fell out. And if it didn't, I would throw it away. Or if it did, I didn't hold on to the card really. I mean, unless it was really pretty and even still. So I just again I'm saying, but anyway, I would get money and then I had this lifesavers bank, right? Like piggy bank, and I would put all the money in there. And so at one point it was just stacked with bills. It wasn't dollars, it was like 50s and 20s. It was just stacking, stacked up, right? So I didn't go shopping. You know what I'm saying? I'm a kid. Like I told you, my parents provided. So they just gave me whatever I needed. So one day I just felt like being generous. I don't know what my problem was. Like I remember this moment, but I just don't understand how I got to this moment. So I decided that I was going to take this piggy bank, go to school, and then stand in line for lunch and just pay for everybody's lunch. And if they wanted snacks, if they wanted ice cream, it was on me. Like, and it was crazy. It was crazy. So it wasn't just my class. Like, you know how you go to lunch and there's a bunch of other classes. So yeah, for that whole period, I just stood at the end of the line where the cashier lady John was, and then people would come, and I would just, what you want? Okay, boom, I got you. I got you. And I'm just feeding this lady 20s and 50s. She's taking it. And nobody thought, no adult thought, like, hey, what is the problem? Like, what is she doing or whatever? They let me do it. But then my cousin, I have a cousin named Bree, and she's like 11 months older than me. She was the next grade up, and then it was to the point where I was starting to pay for her period because we were switching periods. I'm still just passing money. So it got to my cousin, and she, of course, she got ice cream. And as she did the ice cream, she was questioning me, like, what are you doing? This isn't good. Matter of fact, give me some money. And anyway, stop doing this. Right? So I gave her some money. I was like, all right, because I had to listen, she's the older cousin. So I literally emptied out my bank account and then my piggy bank, not bank account, my piggy bank, went home. And it was like months later, my mom started fussing at me and she was like, I was cleaning your room and I went to move the, oh no, she went to put money in the bank. And she said, I went to put money in your account and it just jumped at me and it was empty. What happened to your money? And I was like, I just told her, I didn't realize what I did was so wrong. I mean, yeah, my cousin was bitching, but I didn't understand what was wrong. So I didn't lie. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I gave it away. I gave it away at school. You know what I'm saying? She's like, but the point of all this is just to say, like, I didn't value money. I just didn't, and I still don't value money today. I don't value money, and I don't value objects. I'm a whole weirdo. I use things as tools, and that's it. That's all. I that's it. You know what I'm saying? But fast forward because we're adults here. You know what I'm saying? And life was life, and then I've learned things along the way. But even as an adult, my habits didn't really change. They just got more expensive, right? I would spend money on just some of the weirdest things. So, like, for example, in my 20s, I was like super skinny. You can see my ribs, my neck bone. It wasn't cute. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I got thick, but but I was real skinny. But in my brain, I felt like, hey, I should lose weight. So I would spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on weight. It wasn't Weight Watchers. It wasn't LA. Oh, what was the name of it? It was something. It's going to come. It was called like LA weight loss or something. I think that's what it was. And then I would go there religiously trying to lose weight. Mind you, I'm with older middle-aged women who are obese and I'm sitting here like a size 6 thinking in my head, I should lose weight. So I would spend so much money, and then they saw an idiot coming in the front door. They were like, "Up, Tamiya's here," and they would sell me on weird things. One time they sold me on special orange juice, right? Like, mind you guys, I'm not stupid. I was a typical American consumer. If your advertisement is good enough, I'm going to buy it. Like, that's where I was at the time. But they sold me on this like weight loss orange juice, and I'm saying what it was now, but then I drank the Kool-Aid, no pun intended. So it was like this thing. It looked like a regular thing of orange juice, but they put their label on there, LA weight loss label on there. And they were like, if you drink this 3 times a day, you're going to lose 5 pounds by the end of the week. Come in, check with us. We're going to measure you, all the things. I was like, okay, great. I'm going to need 4 of them. But it wasn't like the regular cost of oranges. Let's say oranges is what, $5 now, right? So back then it was probably like $3. So this particular special orange juice was like $20. So like, so I was just spending. I spent on the program. I spent like several $100s, and I would always be broke. But I would never pay my bills. I would pay them. I wouldn't do anything but just spend money the wrong way and not spend it on my bills. My bills would just straight up be unpaid while I'm just like chasing these weird fast food programs and just random splurges. At the time, I had a godson. He came first, mind you. He had a great mom and dad, and they took care of him. But I'm godmom, and that's my first godchild. So I did all the things, but what I was supposed to do. My bills didn't get paid. You know what I'm saying? I'm forever getting shut off notices. I'm forever getting, like evictions, and I'm laughing. It's not funny. Like, it's funny to me in hindsight. Okay, I'm looking back at it like, wow, I was dumb as hell. But then, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Then I was so ignorant that I wasn't mad. There was no concern. Even this did not drive me to work harder or to try to get money. It was just like, whatever, somebody's going to get my, and I think in my brain, I always thought like, my parents got it. And then my parents they weren't like paying my bills because a lot of times during that time as an adult, I wasn't really banging with my parents like that. But they wouldn't let me get evicted and get my lights and stuff turned off. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like I just did weird stuff with money. Like another time I was so broke. It was Mother's Day. I'll never forget this. I just told somebody this story. It was Mother's Day, and I had no kids or anything, y'all. I was working, and you think I would? I think I was on Section 8, subsidized utilities, so there was no reason for me to be broke. Like I was just doing dumb stuff, so I was mad broke. And I wanted to make sure my mom had, even though we weren't talking like that, I wanted her to give her something for Mother's Day. I didn't have any money. So what I did was I went downtown in North Philly on Broad Street. There was a, what is it? Red Cross. And you could donate blood. So I was like, bet I'm a donate blood. How much money am I going to get for my blood? And they were like, oh, you're going to get like $15. Mind you, I didn't know that this is where crackheads go to get money to buy crack plates. I'm sitting here with the homeless and crackheads laid up with my arm out, just selling blood so I could get some money to give to my mother, right? Like, because I'm broke and I shouldn't have been broke. So, anywho, I'm actually terrified of needles. If you know me, I'm not scared of heights. I am terrified of needles, statues, and mannequins. If you want to terrify the shit out of me, try to take my blood and then have me standing next to a statue or a mannequin. I can play it off a little bit, but for the most part, I'm screaming on the inside. So anyway, I thought they were just going to take like a little tube of blood, like they do. You know what I mean? When you go to the hospital or whatever. Nah, it was like a big bag, and you see your life force just draining from your arm into this bag. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, so I'm feeling a little woozy. I'm a little woozy. All this for $15-$20, right? So, all right, anywho. So then as I'm sitting here letting my life drain into the bag, I'm looking around at the homeless and the crackheads that came in, and I'm seeing them like on a different machine. And I was like, oh, what's that? And they were like, oh, this is plasma. I was like, you guys take plasma too? I was like, wow, I could do this like every week and get paid, man. Like I'm an adult, mind you, right? Like, so they were like, yeah, if you want, you can come in and sell your blood at one point and then walk over and sell your plasma. I'm like, how much is plasma going for? They're like $25. I'm like, sign me up. You know what I'm saying? Yo, bro, like, yo, that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is a judgment-free zone. Some of y'all come to me with some crazy stories, or y'all think are crazy stories, man. It's nothing. We just sometimes in life we just make bad decisions. I'm gonna wrap this story up in case you want to know how that went. I wound up not giving my mother anything or paying. I personally didn't pay for it because I didn't know when you lose so much blood that you get dizzy. Like, so they disconnected me from the stuff, and they were like, you gotta sit here for a few minutes. They gave me 2 vanilla wafers and a little sippy thingy cup of apple juice, and they were like, you got to eat that so your blood can come back or whatever, can rejuvenate itself, and then you can safely leave. So I'm like, bet. But I'm young. I'm like 19, 20 years old. I was like, all right, cool. I sat there. I'm like, I'm ready to go. Mind you, it's the dead of summer. I'm in North Philly. I don't drive. I catch the bus or whatever. And I'm like, wow, I'm really hungry. And I didn't know that was part of it. So I'm standing at the bus stop, sucking on a lot. No, I'm joking. So I'm standing at the bus stop and I'm like feeling dizzy, like I'm about to pass out. So I'm like, oh, there's a Wawa right here, like right here. So I took my little $15. I was like, well, I'm not going to spend the whole 15 because I need to get my mom something. But then I was just so hungry. So I wound up getting like a hoagie and soda. And then I was like, let me get some chips and let me do it. So, and then I realized I didn't have the money to get back home. So I just spent all the money selling my soul to, eat and catch the bus home. So whatever. Fast forward, I wound up telling my parents like, yeah, I sold my blood and then I had to eat. So I need some money for your mother's Day. But again, like just so you know where my mind was at. Now, eventually, I did grow up. Okay, and but the process is always uncomfortable. And I know I had a lengthy podcast episode, and it's going to be much shorter, but the last episode I talked to you guys about. But when you shed yourself, when you kill yourself, so to speak, when you let go of the old in the process of walking into the new, it is scary. And one thing that I noticed in life is if you don't initiate the change in your life, then what happens is God is just going to do it for you. Now, if you don't believe in God or that type of spiritual power, then I'll say it like this: life is going to change your life for you. Okay. So you either take the initiative and take the step forward and find the drive and find the desire to better yourself. Or if you become stagnant, life will do it for you, but life is going to do it in a way you may not necessarily want. This is what I mean by that. So I'm on my ignorant path of life financially, just doing whatever, mad reckless. But then I was evicted. I've been evicted multiple times, but that last eviction, man, that was below the belt. That was a gut check. And I had a lot of money. I had an opportunity to have a lot of money, and I just never saved. I never, did anything with credit, whatever. Boom. I meet my soon to be husband, right? He's currently my ex-husband, but at the time, we met each other. We're both in financially messed up situations. Being with this person, we decided that we were going to blend our families and take this whole thing seriously, take our relationship seriously. Eventually got married, blah, blah, blah. But he was just as bad at money, if not worse than me. And so I was the lesser of the two evils. So I turned into the administrator of our relationship. And through that, I realized that, listen, we can't get anywhere with being reckless, right? In the beginning, he trusted me, like, okay, I'll work. So, one thing I can say is when he worked, he worked. And, he made decent money. When I worked, I worked. Same thing. I made decent money. And we worked two different types of jobs at the time. And then eventually I got him into corporate with me. So now he probably makes way better money than he ever did. Great. Now, the thing was, we had debt. He had child support in arrears. I wasn't paying for anything. Like, I was one of those people that always waited once a year to get income tax checks and things like that. But then that got snatched, and we're trying to get houses, we're trying to get cars, we get rejected. We're getting rejected because we're financially irresponsible. Okay. We can't live in the houses and the apartments that we want, that we know our jobs can get us in, but we got poor credit. I did the whole Lexington law thing. That sucks. Y'all come to me with Lexington. I have customers that come to me and they are former Lexington law customers. I get it. I've been there. I've paid out the yin yang for them people to barely raise my credit 15 points. And more than likely, it just did it on its own. Okay. So I get it. But being with this man, and I'm not saying anything negative about him. This was our reality at the time. We were both reckless. But being with him and being the admin of our relationship forced me to learn and understand the importance of money, what to do with it, and how to properly use it as a tool. You think by me having kids, that would have woke me up, and it just simply didn't. Again, I was still always given things. I was still, if I didn't, my kids never needed for anything because I had it or my parents had it or they're side of the family had it or whatever. It was nothing. So again, there was still no drive or desire until I got into a serious relationship. And then I had to house these babies because it was his son plus my two babies. And then one of the things that I don't do, I don't care how ghetto minded I was, I refuse to live in squalor. I just can't. I can't do that. Um, I believe that every house that you get should be better than the next house. The situation should be better. So because I went from sleeping outside to the shelter system, Section 8 base, Section 8, you know what I'm saying, my own spot, so on and so forth, and it keeps going and going. I was going to move to New Jersey. Okay, I understand. I'm living with my homegirl for the time being because I was homeless briefly for the third, fourth time as an adult. Boom, but I'm not going to the hood. But I wound up, I wasn't living in Newark, but I lived in Elizabeth. And if you're from Jersey, you know that's not that much of a difference because Newark is right. You can hawk spit across the street and you're freaking in Newark, right? So I was making sacrifices because I thought, okay, let me take a step or two backwards so I can hopefully take 10 steps forward. And I'm trying to tell you, don't dummy your situation for nobody. And again, I don't blame him at all, and not in this situation. Me and him, I had problems with him, but it wasn't this. We were just too ignorant. So he was actually following my lead, and I chose to go backwards with the hopes of going forward. Eventually, that's exactly what happened. And but no, I wound up living right outside of Newark. Didn't like that. We had a whole bunch of messed up situations until finally I got it. And then we wound up living in Maryland and then so on and so forth. And that is the beginning of my credit expertise, right? I, as you know, in my past stories, in my past episodes, I was living in Maryland with my family and I'm paying the landlord was trying to get me from paying $1,600 a month to $2,400 a month in rent. This is not a mortgage, in freaking rent. Okay. And I'm not going to get into that story again. Listen to the past episodes because I talk all about it. And that was the triggering point for me. That was a triggering point. Hubby, he loved all the things. He had champagne taste with beer money. And I'm the type of person I am in relationships. Like I'm a support whatever. As long as we got the bread, I don't mind, being the administrator. But things weren't just working out, and it was we could afford 2,400 a month plus our frivolous lifestyle, but why? So anyway, that's how things started. I learned credit, I understood it, I practiced on myself, on him, on others, and then usually anything I set my mind to and I work hard towards it, I do become a G at it. It's just that's just my nature. I'm a nerd. I learn. I'm trying to do this AI thing right now, and it's a nightmare. But I know once I get it down pat, I'm gonna be a beast at it. So that's eventually what happened, and from there, credit has changed. The industry is constantly changing. It's almost like yearly. So I have to go with that flow and educate myself even more. And to this day, I still test things on myself. I'll drop my credit and raise my credit. Right now, because I don't know if it's because I know how to fix credit. I got these weird things reporting on my credit that shouldn't be on my credit at all. Right. So, I am testing things on myself, others, because the industry is changing and it is kind of like it hones my craft, it hones my skills, which again, I feel separates me from other people, but it allows me to learn and then bring it back to you guys. Just like these stories. These are not just stories. I'm not just kicking it with y'all and telling you about my life for fun. It's funny and I'm laughing and whatnot, but hopefully you learn something from it. Hopefully you hear yourself or a friend or family member and say, you know what? I know somebody just like that and you should help them, man. Let me bring them your way. That is my goal. That's why I do podcasting. That's why I do workshops and talk to people all the time. I can have a straight regular conversation with somebody, and if I get a whiff of uh ignorance, financial ignorance or credit ignorance, I'm there talking about what you can do and how I can help you do it. You understand? So that is my goal here. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, yo, this sounds like me, I want you to know you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You know, your story is not going to scare me away. Your story and your situation is not impossible to fix. You have not gone too far. You know what I'm saying? It's not too messy. I can be honest with you guys. I've been in this credit game for 6 years and counting, by the grace of God, and counting. And I can name on one hand how many credit reports I've seen that were just so outrageous. Honestly, it was not more than three. Not more than three. And I still worked on the credit. Okay. I have a new client now. That's the messiest credit report I've seen in a while. And even still, that's not the worst I've seen. So don't think you have to come to me with like a good credit report. Like, y'all come to me and I look at your credit report during the consultations and you're like, oh, I know it's bad. Of course it's bad. That's why you're here. If it's good, then there's no need for us to interact. There's no need for you to need my services. Okay. You don't have to tell me a backstory. I'm not trying to be nasty when I'm telling y'all. I don't need to hear the long ass backstory of how your bad credit came to be, because it doesn't matter what the backstory is. The issue is it's here now and it needs to be fixed. I can help you. I can fix anything and everything, but you have to have that desire. You have to have that drive. You have to want to have the determination and the focus and the wherewithal to want to fix your credit. I am the tool. I'm the tool to help you fix it, and tools don't judge. That's why I like working and using resources, because you use them to do what you got to do to get what you want with no questions asked. That's me right there. That's fixmycreditnow850.com right there. Okay. But what matters the most is that you start. You got to start. It doesn't matter what happened and how you got there and blah, blah, blah. You got to start. And you have to decide and understand that your past does not define your future. So that should not stop you from accomplishing the goals that you definitely, definitely, definitely deserve. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Before I let you go, I do want to say a quick affirmation. I would like to incorporate that in these episodes now. Okay. Say to yourself, my past does not define my future. I am learning. I am always learning. I am forever growing. And I am more than capable of changing my story. Okay. I got y'all. I got y'all. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, download. If you see me on the street, talk to me. Let's structure a plan. Let's politic. Okay. You know, you don't know how long you're going to be on this planet, but you want to make the best of your time here and it be as comfortable for you and your family as possible, right? You guys talk about breaking generational curses and things like that. Let's get it. I'm here for it. I want to help you help yourself and help your family. All right. Now I am on all social media platforms. I'm everywhere out in these streets, but you can mostly find me on YouTube and Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Credit and First Time Homebuyers Plug. I'm going to be advertising more. If you need a realtor, if you need a mortgage lender, I got you. Definitely go on there. We even have like a little Google map thing. So if you're trying to find somebody, just click the map, and I have everybody on every state that can help you. All right. In the meantime, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading, sharing, and subscribing. I wish you guys the best of luck on your credit journey. I'll talk